Yeah, what's up? We are back. The Experience 3. All right, so it's your guy, Tyrone, aka Mr. Chocolate. Don't be afraid to say chocolate. And I got the big homie, Black Pearl. What's going on with you, madam?
Hello, Mr. Chocolate.
Yes, ma'am. And we got the doctor. I said the doctor's in the house. What's going on, Dr. Roy Rain?
Good evening, good evening. All's good.
And we got Shy Boogie.
All right, he must have heard your mix.
AKA Mr. Cherry on top. I added the on top. I'm sorry.
That's cool. That's cool. That's my cousin's production company name.
And we got another educator in the house. Another doctor in the house, actually. The professor. What's going on?
Great to be here, brother.
The coolest doctor I know. And we got the big homie, Philly Cheese. What's up? What's your name?
What's up? I'm in the presence of royalty here with everybody in here tonight.
I don't. It must be these other people. I'm just the everyday average Joe, you know. So, what's going on, man? Y'all been surviving out here?
Absolutely.
Scratching and surviving.
Buying these expensive ass eggs and
You said we buying eggs.
Y'all doing an application to buy eggs?
I'm trying to find some chickens. Forget it.
I got an egg hookup.
Go back to that 40 acres that I was always promised.
Right.
Yeah, I got a loan application,
man.
You said you got a loan application.
Yeah, to get some eggs, you know.
I walked around in the supermarket the other day. I had put some. I had no intention on buying the eggs. You know, I was just using it as a. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey, sweetheart, did you see what I
did you get any numbers? You pull any honeys?
Nah, it was slow. It was a Sunday. You know, I had two.
You got to walk around with them brown eggs on your necklace. Man.
Right. I might have to start doing that. See here, baby girl. I can make it happen, baby
daddy.
Girl.
Now it's an egg daddy.
Yeah, I can make it happen, baby girl. What you want? 2 eggs? 4?
You like,
oh my God, you got a dozen. You too rich for my blood.
How crazy.
Scrambled, fried, sunny side. What you want, girl?
Oh, gracious me.
Yeah. Oh man, but it sounds like eggs make people happy, and that's kind of the topic for the night. So, Black Pearl, man, what are we talking about tonight, man? What's going on?
So we're touching on the illusion of happiness. So we hear a lot, especially nowadays, about people feel like they're not happy. We have people out here taking the happy pill, right, to be happy. So the question is, what is happiness? Is it even a real thing? And so we're gonna dive in again, as always. Experience fam, we love your input, your comments. Drop those comments. You don't have to agree with us. We love to disagree as well, right, Tyrone? Tyrone loved that good old disagree. So
it's okay. It's okay.
He like it. But so I'm gonna start with you guys before we start hearing from our experience fam. What's happiness to you? Besides having some eggs, what's happiness to you?
Man, what's happening? That's a deep question.
Let's go swimming.
Right? I struggle to. I say what's happiness to me, man, is just being off of work. That's probably what's happiness to me. Waking up and knowing I don't have to wake up early. I don't got to go anywhere. That's probably the quickest answer I could come up with.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Chocolate? Because you.
Happiness for me, I think mine is pretty simple. Well, one, good health and time. I think that's what most people really want. People think they want money and they think they want stuff. but they really want time. Because that's the one thing, this is the one equalizer. You don't get it back. It doesn't stop no matter how much money you got, how rich you are, how smart you are. Time keeps on moving. So we're so anytime I
Gotcha.
can utilize time freely, I'm happy.
Okay. What about you, Professor?
And when I first saw this, the immediate thing that came to mind was money. Money, I'm thrilled about that. That makes me happy, right? But really, when I thought about it, I guess more intrinsically, right? My family and friends, being good, them winning, that makes me happy.
Mm.
Nice. Okay. What about you, Doc?
Family and peace.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Sha, because I know you were thinking, so I kept you for last.
My peace. I'm in a place of peace. I love where I'm at. I don't know why it took me so long to get here, but I'm here, and I'm my peace.
Right.
Mhm.
So I definitely have to agree with the peace part. And like a self freedom, I think
Mm,
is like free to be myself.
mm.
Um, I guess which in a way is like a self acceptance, that type of thing. But the irony, the professor said that he thought at first it was money, and so and you'll hear this on and off throughout the show. So I had looked up what do most Americans feel brings happiness, and number one was financial stability.
Yeah,
Honey.
Um, I
It's
can't,
helpful. It's
right.
very helpful.
So this is people are
that's
probably
what I
going to give
want.
me the side eye when I say this. I I I have I'm not saying money doesn't help, but I never equated money with happiness because it feels like you're always chasing it.
Yeah.
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 And it could be my experience. So I grew up for the most part financially stable, 2 cars and a house.
Bless
Dude,
that.
I thought I've never even experienced layaway till my adulthood because my mom and dad made sure, if we needed it, we had it. That was
Mhm.
the thought.
Yeah.
But I realized that financial stability meant from my side was what looked like a workaholic mom, what looked like, hey, you're not coming to my sport games and things like that. So I don't think I ever equated it because I saw that, yeah, we were getting all the things we wanted, but the people that you wanted in the house or at the games were never there. So I didn't equate the two. And a lot of my happiest moments has nothing to do with money. So I think for me, I didn't equate happiness with money. I saw it more as the robber, like it robs you of your happiness,
Mm.
more than anything else. I
That's
guess,
deep.
and Philly Cheese just co-signed it when he said being off from work.
I'm just
You know.
saying, it's the little things, man.
So yeah,
But yeah, I agree with.
Mm.
I mean, I think I agree with you, Black Bro. It's like happiness is definitely not money, but as I say, it gets you closer to happiness. It's to me, it's money. It's such an individual's perspective of happiness, right? If that's what makes you happy, that's what makes you happy. But it
right,
really is just a bridge between where you are now and that happiness. But it's not happiness. It's like maybe happiness is what I'd spend that money on versus the
right,
actual act of money. Because if money made you happy, you wouldn't spend it.
Well,
So
I think too we live in a capitalist society, so we kind of idolize money, and we don't realize money is really just a tool. Money's a tool.
yeah,
It use it to get
Right.
other things. Use money. You get a lot of money. It buys you time and freedom to do more of the things that's what you really want in life. It's not the money per se, but the money is a tool to get those things. So
Mhm.
we feel like the money's making us happy, but you can fuck around and get
Yeah.
the money and do the wrong things with your life, and you'll be the most miserable son bitch ever. Like
yeah,
a lot of people who are rich are like they,
right.
once you get it, you don't do those things that you
Right.
should do, like take care of your family,
But
be with people you care about. You start
like
wanting
Ti said, you're unhappy with your riches because you're piss poor morally.
right,
Mm.
right.
Yeah.
You just want stuff
Right,
and
right.
status and clout. And once you get there, you're not gonna be happy. You're gonna just be chasing a ghost and
yeah.
you never catch it. So, but that's something people
Yeah.
have to come to a realization about, and a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I would say I'm not rich, but I've definitely been poor. And I prefer having than not having. I can tell you that. And if I sit back and
Mhm.
really look at it, I said this myself the other day, man. I think my happier times were not having access to money, like not having
Right.
stuff.
I'm gonna have to agree
Uh,
with some of that too. Yeah.
yeah, like I mean, honestly, like I've known Tyrone we're just like 21 years. I think some of the happiest times of my life is when there was a bunch of brothers and we're sleeping at one brother's one bedroom apartment, taking turns on who's going to use the bed, because we people going to work at different times of the day, and that's probably the simplest living, happiest time of my life. Now I got a mortgage and
Broke
I
as
got a car
hell.
payment, yeah,
So, would you say you were happier when you were younger?
well, I think they say, youth is wasted on the young, right? So yeah, so I do believe when I was younger, that had I had the knowledge I have now, I would have been happier then, and would have set me up for a
Absolutely.
better. It would
Wow.
set me up better now.
Absolutely.
Right.
You
So,
Yeah.
I've
know,
also seen a statistic that said that educated people are less happy than uneducated people.
Oof.
Because we
I
got to
believe
pay
that.
off these student loans. But that's a
yeah,
whole
yeah,
other
right, yeah,
conversation.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's because we
Shoot,
are. Yeah, it costs a whole lot to have a doctor degree. Yeah,
baby. That's
but
why we ain't so happy. But
Well, it
yeah.
could be that ignorance is bliss too. It
Exactly.
could
I was
be
I
gonna say,
think
that's
ignorance.
no way
that
there.
might be
Yeah.
so. You know a little bit more. You exposed a little bit more. Like it's like what's going on in the news today, right? Because I'm a student of politics. I, I'm either more or less concerned about the varying things I hear all day long because I'm aware of what they mean to a
right.
Mhm.
person who may
Right.
not be aware of what they mean. So yeah,
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I agree
Right.
with
And,
you.
and if you observe the world and stuff, you look at the world instead of just your little bubble, and you kind of get concerned about different things. So yeah, that can definitely
that part.
be a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, all of us are kind of close in age. And we, whether it be consciously or subconsciously, we're fed images of what happiness was. So, what were you fed that happiness was? Like let me say this real quick. I feel like happiness is like a carrot. It dangles in front of you. They keep right, so you get it. Or
Mhm.
even I don't know. For those of you who know, like during tax time, there's like this commercial with the old man and the dollar
Yeah,
hanging on the thing, and the
Yeah.
girl
yeah.
keep,
Mhm.
I
Faster than
pass
that.
the
Gotta be
dollar.
quicker
Right.
than
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I feel like that's what happiness. Period. We're on. Some people are on a hamster wheel, just constantly like, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Never get it. Or you get closer to the carrot, but it's not enough, so you keep going. Anyway, my point is, what was the carrot of happiness that was dangled in front of you in your earlier years that you thought, okay, this is what I'm aiming. If you had, some people don't, um, that you were
Mm.
what was dangled in front of you.
I'm
Are
gonna
you?
have
Um,
to I'm gonna have to defer this because my response, because honestly I don't, and I'm sitting here listening and I'm to everyone and I'm just like I don't think I was ever dangled or fed anything about what happiness is. Like I just found and created my own happiness. If I don't know if that's, and maybe I'm saying that because I'm
That's
not even
cool.
conscious of the
Yeah,
fact that maybe you understand what I'm saying. Like maybe I'm
yeah.
not even
I
conscious of the
I, I
fact,
100% agree.
but yeah,
Yeah, because and the reason why I say I agree that you didn't know is, as Americans, we're definitely dangled, 100%
Yeah.
dangled. There's nothing about America that does not dangle happiness.
yep.
Even the way we
Yeah.
pursue our education is a
Mhm.
happiness dangle.
Yep.
Period. When you get your education, you got your degree, you're gonna get the best job, you're gonna have better.
Yep.
And then now you're over here like, oh my God, student loans. Nobody said
Mhm.
that part. They just
Yeah.
said more education, better job opportunities, better living. We're all here like, bro, degree in hand, what's up?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying like that is again my perspective. To answer the question, and this is probably from cultural, which Phil will probably agree with me, where we grew up. Oh, Shaw will probably agree too. It's getting a nice house in Queens or Long Island,
Mm-hmm.
finding that boo thing and having some kids. Now, 2 kids, 3 kids is a lot. You must have a lot of money, but having some
Right.
kids,
Right.
right? Not having to take the train, maybe driving your BMW to the train station,
Or
You know,
just
like
driving it to work.
driving it to
Yeah,
work. You
right.
gotta get your car. It literally. But what happened is no one said this is happiness.
Yeah.
It was usually like that person has a good life,
Yes.
or do you want to be in these streets? You can't be in these streets. You want to be like, look at Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson's in church. He's a part of the welcome team. He got his degree. Da 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 da. Those are the things. I know as a Black person in growing up in Queens, it was like you want to go to college to get your education, so you don't have to be like the dude in the street. You don't have to be a drug dealer. This education will make you better. So all of those were to me subliminal messages, because when you're in school they're not like, oh, you're just going to high school so you could do, but they're literally going, don't be like this, you want to be like that. And all of that was false. Wrong answer. It was because those are tangible things that come and go. So yeah,
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 that's,
I mean,
that's just me.
I know for me, ooh, some people ain't gonna like mine. That's okay. So a few things were dangled. It was a lot of things dangled in the face, but the idea of hard work. Okay,
Oh
yeah,
I
dangled
was
yeah.
gonna
that
say the same thing.
the bullshit of hard work of
Yeah.
like, hey, you're a man, you're supposed to go out and bust your ass and just work until you die,
Mhm.
and that's what you're supposed to do because you're born into working class, so this is what you're supposed to do. You work your ass off too. Don't own anything, don't build no wealth, just work, get a job, and work your black ass off until you
Not your
pass
Black
away,
ass.
and then that's what you do. And that was always dangled. And for a
Mhm.
little while, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that." And when, at some point, I realized no. And then the other thing that was dangled, okay, so I'm from the South, and this is blasphemy for some people.
You gotta rub your neck too. What happened?
Yeah, rub
Like
your
he
neck.
clutching his pearls.
Uh,
Oh,
That's
you
what
touch his pearls. Okay.
nah,
We
but
should put
no,
a trigger warning right
but
now.
the other thing that was dangled was religion, and it was like,
Oh.
if you
I
just,
mean, I should leave this
Jesus,
podcast right now.
Right?
and it's like, hey, man, just don't worry about nothing. Just don't worry. Just this is all you need.
Pray
And
on it.
and I kind of got, I'm not on that. So
yeah.
so I kind of, I don't know. So that
Prayer
was one
without
I can
works
thing,
is
see that.
dead. We definitely
Yeah.
gotta do our part. Yeah, you
Mhm.
gotta
yeah,
do your part. God didn't say
yeah,
be no fool now. Yeah,
yeah,
So
For
you
me,
said God didn't say be a fool.
God didn't say be a fool now. So you got,
Oh,
so you got to do your part. Praying is one thing, right? But if you're not doing the things that when able to pray to come true, there's no reason to. You don't need to be praying. So
right?
I mean, if you're not going to do the things that make it so, then you just talking. You might as well don't. You just
that's
talking
good.
to God. You're
Yeah.
not. So
Faith,
yeah, we got to do
faith,
our part.
faith
Well,
Yeah,
without
talking at,
works,
but yeah.
faith without works
yeah.
is dead. Is
that
Yes.
part. Yeah.
what they
Comatose.
So
say. I
Comatose.
mean,
yeah.
We need to
I
tell
mean, God is
everybody
not
that.
God is not a genie, right? That's
right,
what love. You're not a magic genie, so you got to do your part.
right. For
What
me,
about
Well,
you, Shaw?
it was different things. As you get older in life, you see different things. So one of those happy, things was, um, you know, dad is taking care of mom. I mean, in my case, I was in foster care, but dad is taking care of mom. Mom is happy. Dad is happy that mom is happy. Okay, I want to achieve that. Then when you become a teenager, this okay. I want to, I want to do this. And then for us, it was getting your working papers so you could be independent. That was another
Right.
stage. That was another
Right.
stage of happiness. Another stage of happiness was okay, you turned 21. And growing up, when you heard, when you turn 21, you're a grown up now and you could do this, you could do that. Nobody really said anything about the fine print about all of that. But, you get to 21 and you're thinking, okay, and then it's like, oh wait, and you got to keep climbing higher. So it was like when you get to 21, 25, 25, 30, you saw different things of different people who had certain things by a certain age, and now you want to get there. And then when you get there, those expectations of what you saw and heard of are not necessarily. So now it's like you said, it's like that carrot. You chasing that carrot. You chasing, because you see this one with happiness. You see somebody else's happiness, and you want to get there, but you get there, and then you come to find out, oh, they did this, that, and the third, so it can look like this, and then so it's I feel like it was like different stages. It was like different stages. If I'm making any sense.
No, it makes
it
Yeah,
makes
there's
sense.
levels to it. Levels to
Yeah.
it.
No, it
Right.
makes sense.
I think for me, it's actually like I think it pretty much aligned in all of it. I think it's about the same. But for me, the carrot that was dangling for me was just the idea of success. That you have to succeed in order to be happy. Right? You have to exactly like Black person, you got to graduate from here, you got to get this degree. Then once you get to this job, it's got not just a regular job, you got to get a big job. And then when you get a big job, then like Chocolate said, you got to work hard and work hard and work hard and work your ass off. Excuse me, work your black ass off. So then
Yes,
maybe
I was gonna
get
make
a
sure it was a
promotion.
black because that's what he said.
And then it's just as I got older, I realized that all of that is it's toxic for anybody, I think, in our generation growing up, where any failure, any lack of promotion, at least I'm speaking for myself, any failure, any lack of promotion just deems, it just kills your mood, it kills your morale, and you're just like, it's not going to happen. But to me, and we could probably touch on this later, the idea of success is just such, how can I put this? It's such a stomach worm that anytime I achieve it, I'm just looking for the next thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a false thing because it's like I'm pouring water into a cup full of holes. It's just like, oh, I got that promotion, got to do this, I got to aim for something else, and it's never stopping. So,
right. But that's that subconscious thing that we're fed, right?
Yeah.
Because like it's literally like, okay, I have this job. Where's my bonus?
Yep.
Am I making more next year than I made this year? You keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So now they go, okay, you're capped. Okay, got to find a new job.
Yep.
Got to make more. But what happens is while you're making more, you're also increasing your lifestyle to require to make more.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Then you got they taking more taxes and all this other stuff. That's why I said it's a carrot. Mm-hmm. Because it's not like you get to a destination and then you're like, I'm good. And then who's setting the bar of success that's supposed to be making you happy?
That is, I don't know if y'all are like noticing my face, but I feel like my face is talking, and I don't mean for it to talk. We're good because
let it talk.
You're usually really good with the faces. You are not.
Let it say.
No, because I feel like I'm listening. I'm really listening, and I feel like after hearing you all, like I have been walking around with blinders on my entire life. Like I'm dead ass right now. I like
dead ass, son.
For real, because okay, so when you were talking about the education being dangled, yeah, because that was something that was highly emphasized in my family, as far as that's concerned.
Ours too.
As far as going to college, but specifically, and I'm gonna piggyback off of something Phil said, which was, striving to achieve get a degree in a particular field, get that big job. Like none of that. The objective was to be successful, was go to college. Right. After you go to college, whatever you did was up to you, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
That's why I'm telling you, I was not fed anything. So
what was the purpose of your education? Why couldn't you stay at home and work in the factory?
No. So the purpose of
I
education,
think I know where you're going.
You understand? Okay, good. And maybe because I'm from and I know
we work in education, part of it too.
Right. And I know professor.
When I look at people and I see people, because for me as an educator, it's more of a purpose-driven job. Like you ain't doing it for the money.
Well, no.
Like-
I'm not even talking.
No.
I
I'm
might
asking
agree with
why
Doc
were
was
you
saying.
told that it was
Right,
so
and-
important to
right.
get your education?
And that's
what
what I'm
asking.
no, and
Yeah.
to answer that's what I was saying. No, to answer that question, and where I was going with this is Professor, and I know Tyrone, we're originally from rural northeastern North Carolina area. Is poor. I didn't. So the purpose of
Estimate
going to
mildly, right?
Yeah.
you understand? So to go to college was for the purpose of being able to get an education, and then what you do with your degree, at least how I internalized it. What you do with your degree is up to you. Nobody emphasized that. I know. And I know from a cultural perspective, because Pearl, you and I have talked about this, certain cultures emphasize being that lawyer, being that doctor, being that nurse, whatever. That wasn't the emphasis. It was go to college, period. And what you decide to major in, what you decide to do with your degree was actually up to you. But that, for me, was not emphasis. So I'm sitting here floored. And I'm like, Father, I have been walking around with freaking blinders on.
Well,
No,
I
not
don't
not
think
at all.
it's blinders on.
Yeah.
I think so. I want to just say again,
because I'm not chasing nothing. Now,
consciously
I'm
and
up to the highest
subconsciously.
bidder.
I'm going to say consciously and subconsciously,
Yeah.
but education, just from my perspective,
Yeah.
when it's shown to Black people, it's, hey, we were here and we didn't have it, and we could be
Right.
better if we have the education.
Yeah.
And you said something. You said
Step
something
up.
also. You said, well, I'm in a small town. Something about being poor. So that means they're saying you can have a better life,
it's a
happier
step up.
life if you. That is a subliminal message that you're being told.
Because they ain't
So what
shit
I
in the
got-
country. There's nothing else.
Because if they're
Yeah.
saying we're happy and we're good where we're at, do what I did. Go work up the street and stay right here in this town.
Well,
But
I
they
think-
were. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was like, what I heard from being in that same part was, I want you to be better than me. So my happiness from my mom, right? Her happiness was derived from you completing high school, and you got two choices: you either go to the military or you can go to somebody college W, and not living in her house, and not living in her house.
But my
That was
question
her
is,
definition.
why was
of
that? So that's still
both.
a
Yeah.
message you are being fed.
Yeah.
What you were doing was feeding her happiness.
Yes, and I think, and I would say this is the other part of this. I would say how now this is just me, how
Yes.
Professor came about it. I wanted to have money. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm be honest. Like, I wanted to be rich. I wanted to have money. I watched the Jeffersons. I saw George and Weezy go to the East
Subliminal
Side.
messages.
Right. But I'm saying, but I put that on me. That's what I'm saying. No one told me I had to do that.
No.
I
When I say
decided I wanted to do
subliminal
that.
messages, when I tell you subliminal messages, I don't mean from a parent specifically or aunt.
I understand. Yeah.
We get it from television.
Right. No, I agree.
When you have car stuff,
Yeah.
Music videos.
the reason why
Yeah.
I'm saying that to you, if that wasn't a
Yeah.
subliminal message, I promise you that it would just like, hey, we're good in this little house. I'll wait and be passed on this house, and life will go on. We were our parents told us, hey, if you have this, life will be better. If you have this, look at all the stuff we went through. It'll be better.
It's a product of our capitalist society. What
Right.
was saying.
Right.
Everything engineers every American to do that. Like you
Right.
want to have the American dream. You need to collect stuff.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
But no, that's what I'm. Oh my gosh!
I'm saying, I hear you. I hear you. That no.
And I'm gonna be quiet.
Phenomenal.
I'm when I tell y'all,
you didn't. You're saying you've never experienced it.
None of this, and
But you're American.
Also, it's fine. I mean, maybe
No,
it is fine. But honestly, and I'm going to. Part of me is like, I'm thankful that I didn't have whatever y'all are talking about.
Yeah.
Because like I'm sure because I don't care about
free.
I don't care about no damn cars. As long as I have a car to drive, I'm good. As long as I have some money in the bank to pay my bills, I'm good. Now, at this point in my life, am I up for the highest bidder? Absolutely, but that's because of the degree. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it needs to correlate. But as far
But
as
but
as
that
far as
is
my
it.
happiness, but
Yeah.
but as far as my happiness isn't rooted in none of this.
No,
Like,
I don't think what
I
we're
don't
saying
know.
it's
Yeah.
rooted.
No,
I
no,
think
Mine's
it's
that's
not
seen
rooted
as
in it, but
rooted.
So
yeah.
it's
I
a
didn't
it's
say
a
it's
damn sight
rooted. I
better though.
said
It's just
what
influenced by.
subconscious messages have been given to us. Not rooted. None of that is rooted. Listen, for whoever don't know, I don't have a degree because I
I
knew
don't.
that's not what was going to make me happy.
right.
It's not rooted. It's what message. For example, why aren't you driving a 1967 car that has a new engine in it?
Because I can't find one. I don't care about that. Like
That's
Why
actually
did you buy
that's
a
actually
house?
Yeah,
Why
it's
didn't you stay in an
expensive now.
apartment? Those are those
It's
things
expensive
that
now.
listen.
I promise you,
I'm
they're
good with an
subconscious.
apartment. You listen.
Okay.
When I tell y'all,
Yeah,
oh
see,
my
I
God,
think
I am.
that's
When, yeah, when I tell you, I am so simplistic. I am
good.
so simplistic. I
yeah.
don't care about none of that. As long as
I'm
You
as long
you
as
are
I
an
have
anomaly.
the
I'm very
bare
similar.
minimum.
You
I
are
don't
an
know.
anomaly for
I'm
sure.
very
No,
similar. I'm
Apparently.
very similar to Dr. Roy Rain. And that, if I may, I'm gonna go into what I was about to talk. What I was about to say
Yeah,
when I
go
was
ahead.
talking about. So for me, I'm very similar. I kind of got out of the thing about wanting a bunch of shit. I don't really care when I talk to somebody. If the first thing somebody tells me about themselves when I meet them is how much stuff they got, I automatically think, oh, this isn't my tribe. This isn't who I'm about to rock with. Okay, so for me, as a person who got a degree, my degree was never about money or anything like that. So when I went to, I left home, went to the military. I went to the military, did my combat thing, and it changed me. I ended up being a person. Some people are people of service naturally. They're people of service. They don't really worry about accumulating stuff.
Yeah.
They don't worry about. I honestly, I hate money. I need money, so I get money, but I don't really covet it. I'm not a person that's like, hey, Lee, I'm getting money. Hey, look at this shit here. I hate it because I hate what it does to people. I've seen what it does to people. I've been to places where money it destroys people if you let
Right.
it. So
So
me going into education, my thing is my job. Most days I laugh,
Service.
I have fun with kids. I do
I'm gonna be
things.
devil's advocate, and I don't usually do this. I don't believe neither one of y'all. I believe that the messages have been so subconscious you
I
don't
know.
realize it. Because
I understand,
here's
and I
something that
understand.
here's something that both of you said. Now you're not like that. In my age, I'm not like that. I'm at the
Well,
point.
even as a younger person, I was like that.
Then you want to have a house. Y'all
Yeah.
want to take vacations.
L-
Y'all want to do
listen,
any of that.
listen,
All
Yeah.
of that
Now I
is
can attest to that. Now
subconscious things.
he
listen.
been
All of
like that a
those
long
are
time.
subconscious
So
things
Yeah.
fed to us. All
so
of it is
so,
subconscious things. Then you would,
I'm not gonna
in a
be
religious
homeless.
sense, you would lay down all your riches and give to everybody else, if that's the case.
No, you're
Well, that's
going
You
probably a
know
little
what
bit
I mean?
radical now,
you're
bro.
taking it
That's
to
probably
the
a little radical.
extreme. You're taking it
That's
to
probably a
the
little
What did I
extreme.
say? I'm being
Yeah.
devil's advocate for
Well,
a
Yeah,
second.
that's like you're like
Yeah, ain't nobody talking
you're
about
like
living out of
swatting
a
a fly
box.
with a bazooka.
Yeah,
Listen, listen.
we ain't Homie the
I
Clown.
live
We
in
ain't living out the
I
box.
live in a
Go ahead.
basic ranch house.
I
I
feel
live in a
like
basic one-story ranch house.
right.
I'm not MTV Cribs out here.
Right.
I'm not. I go on vacation because it's for peace of mind. It's not because of wanting the ball. It's peace of mind. I
Well,
take little
But
breaks.
you're also
well,
defining what happiness is. You just
yeah.
said,
Now
I'm
I
not
know.
MTV Cribs.
I think
Now I know
I
money's
think
not the
not
only
me.
part about happiness here. I know that's not the only part we wanted to talk about, but I think
Oh, yeah.
it's safe to say, right, that
Sorry, excuse me.
you got to have money. You got to have money,
Yeah,
and
that's why
and
you need money to
and
survive.
different levels of
Absolutely.
money make people happy. Some people just satisfied. They just content. Hey man, I only need 45 grand and healthcare and my 1980, Chevy. I'm good. I don't need nothing else. My Chevrolet, I don't need nothing else. A Chevette, but I don't need anything else.
Not the Chevette.
Whatever.
Go
Hey,
ahead.
look, to be completely honest, like I'm a Southern country boy. Give me a good fishing hole, a decent pickup truck,
See,
and my family happy, and we eat good, and I'm straight. I'm
I
like,
really
you can
I
be in the
really
Hamptons, you can be
right.
wherever the hell you want to be. I'm good, bro. I'm chilling.
now I
Okay.
will play
I
devil
feel
advocate with
like
him, but
Okay.
Shaggy, I'm from the same place, but I don't agree with what he just said. I'm from the
Because we're
same
different.
region, and we
Yeah.
different. But no,
Yeah.
I want
Man, it's good
and
fishing and eating. Saying
we've
you
been
missed out, bro.
we've been friends for over 20 years, right? But no, I like stuff now. I want to be able when we go somewhere. And this is a good example. This is a good example. Years ago, we going to the club together. The group was going to the club, right? And when we didn't have any money, we had to park, in West Hill and walk to the front door, right? Years later, brothers got a little bit of money. I said, "Oh no, we're not doing that. No, we can pull up right to this door and we can valet this thing and we're gonna go right inside. We're gonna pay the express thing and we're gonna go." So when I had the means to do it, oh yeah, I'm doing that. And if we together, you come with me. You don't have to spend it if you don't want to, but I'm not gonna wait out here and I'm not doing that. So
And
there's
I'm
the
good with
difference
spending
in
your
level.
money.
All right, well,
I
Shaw was
know.
gonna,
I mean,
mess. Shaw was
I-
gonna say something. Go ahead,
I
Shaw.
feel I feel like depending on where you're from, what you saw, what you grew up around, what was
Yeah.
instilled in you, it's in the so Royal, don't feel bad, don't feel like, oh my gosh, like you're lost. You're not. Is
No.
where you is where you're from, where you grew up at. That was the goalpost. Getting the education is the goalpost.
Yeah.
Because of you don't got to tell me your age if you're a little bit
I'll be
seasoned.
50. I'll be 51 this year. No, I'm proud of my age,
Okay.
baby, because I don't look my
I know.
age, so
All
I'm
right,
good.
I know. They said you're not supposed to ask.
Child, please go ahead.
So
Not child, please.
so I feel like
227.
I feel like where you grew up at and what was around you and what your parents they foresaw that, okay, if we send her on this track, once she gets to educate, that's probably what it was for growing up,
Mhm.
for your parents growing up, making sure your child had that education. Now for your parents, who knows what it was,
Right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? And for your parents, who knows what that
What that was.
finish line was.
Right.
So it's
It's levels to it.
it's levels to it. So
Yeah.
being that me and Pearl grew up in Queens, as far as I was concerned, even though I was born in Brooklyn, but I grew up in Queens. As
Born
far
in
as
Brooklyn too, Shaw.
right, so as far as us growing up in Queens, I felt like you couldn't tell us nothing.
Right.
You couldn't tell us nothing because of where we grew up at.
Right.
We didn't have to grow up, in the 80s and the 90s. For us growing up, anything outside of Queens was bad, was dirty.
Mhm.
South Jamaica, dirty, bad. Stay away from there. Bedside Brooklyn, dirty, bad. Stay over there. South Bronx, dirty, bad. Stay over there. Manhattan, that's where you want to be. You want to get a job. You want to finish school. You want to work in the city. That's what was presented to
Yes.
us. It wasn't necessarily verbally said. No one was in both of our ears was like that said that this is what we saw.
Yeah.
This is what we saw. So when me and Pearl was in school, no one told us that the hot spot is Jamaica Avenue and the Coliseum. To us, that was woo. That was
Off limits.
No, it was.
No, that's it. That's
Oh,
what
that
I'm
was-
about to
yeah.
tell the story about
You-
LL Cool J just sitting
you
on
wanna-
his
You
car.
did tell
Right.
me that. Yeah.
That's why I got all my non-bootleg.
Because it's what we saw. It was what we saw. No one said it to us. We used to see LL all the time and be like, "Wow, he's up here buying clothes and sneakers. That's what I want to do."
Yeah.
We used to see the Lost
Yeah.
Boys before they blew up. I used to see MOP. I used to see Heavy D. You name the celebrity, they went through that
And just
Coliseum.
walking, just walking
They
around.
went through that Coliseum.
I got a question when you get
And when
done.
we saw that, that was like, okay, if they could come here and spend money and not just hang out and not get kicked out because they're walking through.
Well, I mean,
That's what-
and
Hold on,
Tyrone, I know you got a question. Go ahead,
I
Tyrone.
got
I'm
just a
sorry.
quick question. And Pearl, I apologize for this ahead
Go
of time.
ahead.
But Shaw Boogie, you mentioned the Lost Boys.
Mhm.
Why was his name Mr. Cheeks?
I don't know.
We don't know. That
We
we
don't
never got
know.
explanation.
We
And
don't
that's-
know
Oh,
why.
okay, I was just curious.
We
Because
don't
that
know.
would
Because it ain't like he was
Yeah,
smiling
man.
with big
Maybe
maybe his name
oh,
would be Paul.
maybe because he kept clapping cheeks.
Now,
Listen,
No,
I know today- I know
easy.
I know if he was a new
Easy.
artist of today, he probably
You-
couldn't use that name. We
Yeah, he'll
never
be bald.
we never questioned why his name was that.
I mentioned that because I was telling my daughter his name was Mr. Cheeks. She bust out. She couldn't stop laughing. She was like, she was looking like, she didn't say it, but she was looking like, what the hell?
Right.
Mr. Cheeks? Why? But
Right.
I
I'm an answer for you, by the way.
So all right, so we talking about that. I mean,
I'm sorry. Come on back in. Bring it back. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Hold on a second.
So-
I got an answer for Mr. Chocolate about why he's called Cheeks. That's actually his middle name.
Cheeks?
really?
His middle name is Cocheeks. C-O-C-H.
Thank you. I'll tell my daughter. I'll tell my
Well,
daughter.
look at that.
I'll tell my daughter that.
We getting educated here.
But
Too.
look at that.
We
Had
were
no
today
clue.
years old when we figured.
Right.
That was a house conversation we had the other day.
Listen,
So
we
thank
saw
you.
him. It was like, wow, they have a music video. Now they're here in the Coliseum buying sneakers, taking pictures, going downstairs to the lower level, getting jewelry. Yeah. That's what we saw. That's what we
Right.
saw. And so,
That is
and
what
then
we saw.
like I said, you heard about people going to work. They would get on the bus, get to Parsons and Archer, head to the city to go to work. That was to get a job working
You
in the
don't see
city.
that shit in the
was
country. You don't see nobody.
All right, so here's another question because we are so fortunate that Royal and I are the only ladies on the show tonight. Do you feel that you got messages about happiness with the number of women that you got, or the number of women you were able to achieve?
That's a good one.
That's
I'm
a,
just asking.
yeah. So again, it has everything to do with its stages. So I want to say I was shy, elementary school, early junior high school. I felt like when I got to high school, I kind of got a little confidence. So yeah, I got four numbers today. I might call 3. You know what I'm saying? That was the thing. And then as you got older and you matured, and
Quality over quantity.
Right. Quality
Eventually.
With time,
quality,
though. With time.
Eventually.
with time and with different
Phil
experiences.
said no.
Nah.
I mean, here's my thing.
Phil said no.
Yeah, Phil.
I think-
Go ahead,
I
Phil
think-
was like, Phil said, he was like,
Eventually.
nah.
Go ahead, Phil.
I mean,
Break it down, Phil.
speaking for myself. So I think Shaw and I have a similar personality growing up. Pretty quiet.
Yes, y'all have a very similar personality.
Pretty quiet. I had my own circle of friends, kind of thing. Whatever, it was fine. I mean, if a girl was talking to you, yeah, that was great. I don't think that I was ever denying it. I wasn't a big ladies man, but I was funny. So that funny kind of
Same here.
That's what I said. Y'all have a similar personality.
I was funny, but my bonus was I also started DJing, so that was like
so that helped a lot.
Oh, yeah, DJ turn you to a hoe, don't it?
little frosting on my cake. Yeah,
What?
but
Doesn't DJ turn you to a hoe?
Well,
I
guess everybody.
Tell the truth.
I purposely, my zone school was Jackson. That was my zone school.
Mm.
I didn't want to go to Jackson. I gave my mom some bogus reasons why I wanted to go to Hillcrest. Bogus.
I was closer to Jackson too.
My reason for wanting to go to Hillcrest, because it was there's mad girls at Hillcrest.
Because we had the nursing program over there.
Right.
That's how young men think.
I forgot what I even said to my mom on why I wanted to go to Hillcrest, because we was able to give, what was it, 4 or 5 choices. So
okay. I think it was 4.
I think it was 4, yeah. So the schools you really wanted to go to had to be at the top of your list. And then
had to be the first 2.
Right. And then it trickled down after that. My goal, I didn't want to come for the nursing. I didn't want to come for the basketball team.
No.
Hillcrest has girls. I want to go to school where there's all the girls so I can rap to the girls, so I can get my game up.
It was one
Were you a
guy
DJ
every
yet?
5 girls in that school.
I was still collecting records. I was still buying. I'm still homing
Developing. Yeah.
That's a nice way of saying
But
that.
Star Boogie, I want you to answer my question, Star Boogie. You
What's your
didn't
question?
answer my question.
What's your question?
When you became a full-on DJ,
Mhm.
did it make you become a hoe?
What the
Oh,
hell
I didn't even
doing?
hear that
I've
question.
had,
Yeah,
I've had, I've had whole moments. I've had whole
and
moments.
Whole
I've had whole
moments.
I
moments.
just always wondered with DJs, you're
Were
always at
your
parties, you're the guy
That got
up
me thinking
there.
about Ludacris'
I
song.
did
just, I
your
don't
whole
know.
moments make you happy though?
Everywhere tells
At the
everybody, even the man.
Goalpost.
Yeah.
Hold
did
on.
my whole moments at the time. I was it brought some happiness.
Don't
Yes.
be ashamed.
So
Maybe
would you
we have
say
today.
that the problem with the whole moments is you have to keep getting more whole moments to maintain the happiness?
Yeah, man.
Well, here was the thing.
Mhm. What
Here
had
was-
happened was
I got something to say on this too.
So
Okay.
so so when I was going through those DJ Ho moments, I may have been in my late 20s at the time. Between late 20s going into my 30s. I was at the point where it was like, okay, I'm having a little bit of hard time of keeping track. So let's downsize. Let's bring the number down. We'll keep it simple. If if main thing shows up, cool. If she doesn't show up, all right. That means I can kind of play around a little
What's
bit.
all of this? What's all of this? What's all
He
of
You
this?
know,
playing around. He
I
playing
kind
around.
Oh,
right.
play
I
around.
kind of had my pick. I kind of had my had
So
my
just
pick.
like a DJ, you're like chicka chicka over here and
he's pulling a DMX.
over here.
They just go from and
Right. So it was Brenda.
It was Shonda and Yolanda.
Right. I didn't have all those names. I kept it simple because things were kind of starting to get away from me a little bit. So I kind of had to.
Okay,
That's
so
funny.
Professor said he has something to say to the.
Yeah. I guess I just would say, in retrospect, right, you see all those things that we all did when we were younger and didn't know any better, right? Those
Mhm.
things are really hollow. They may be, in moments of passion that we all have, when we talk about or laugh about when you get together with friends. Some people may be ashamed of those things, right? But I don't think those things bring any kind of real happiness. I think it brings momentary satisfaction, whatever those moments are. I don't think it brings any qualitative kind of
Yeah,
happiness to your
but
life.
that's
Well, at the
something
Yeah.
that
time,
you learned in time.
right at the
Because when
time,
you was in them moments, you was like,
But
"Oh,
that,
I got her number."
but that's
Yo,
what I'm
look at
saying.
her.
it felt
That's the point I'm trying to make. It's
yeah,
not real happiness. It's not. It's
right.
fake.
Right.
It's
Never
not
But
real.
look
that,
like that.
the
Now
Never look
point
like
I'm
it took
making,
me it
the
took me
point
a
Tyrone
I'm
said
little
never
making
look.
is it was happiness until
at
you
the
learned
time.
better.
Yeah, it felt
Right.
like
That's what I'm
if
saying.
at the
Yeah,
time
because you didn't know any better.
I
Because we didn't
right
know
I
any
Right.
better. People didn't
I
know any better
totally
Which
then.
goes back
right
to my carrot. Which goes back to my carrot. You
right
said, "Oh, I got her." Then you're like,
right.
"Wait, this didn't last long." I got. This didn't last
But I
long
go
either.
back to the point.
So
I mean, that's society driving that too. Just like it
right.
drives
So
capitalism, it drives you wanting to be in having multiple women. I don't know how it is about for women, but for a man, at least heterosexual man, society
Hold
says
on
you
a
should
second.
have a lot
now
of women. So
now to Professor's point,
I can't say I ever
at
really
the
bought
at the
into that.
time it was like, okay, if I can keep doing this. All right, this is fun. This is nice. Every gig I go to, there's a chance I could leave with something, or we could meet up tomorrow or something. But then as time as time went on, that's when it's like, okay, maybe all right, that wasn't there. Yeah, you come to a point where you're like, all right, this is not it. It's
it's
this
childish.
is not
You
this
got
is
to
not
stop
Hold
doing that.
hold
this is
on.
not fun anymore.
Hold on,
This
Phil.
is
Go
this
ahead,
is
I
Phil.
work
think
I
now.
can't.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Phil.
I think all of
I know
this.
you're gonna be real. Go ahead, please.
I think all of this, just hearing it, and excuse me, I zone out. All of this, honestly, and I don't want to go down this path because it's going to be a whole other conversation. It's very much just a nature versus nurture situation, right? Like, who was more impactful in growing up? Was it our parents and our upbringing? Or, like Black Pearl said, was it the TV we watched? Was it the music video? Was it our friends? And at least from what we're hearing here, I think the parents and our upbringing is sort of like it's sort of like our common denominator, right? That's the lowest we're willing to go. That's what we achieve. And then the nurture part of it, like our environment, music videos, as much as I hate to say it, it shaped us growing up, right? I mean, I don't care DJ, not DJ, girls, not girls, whatever the case is. When we were growing up, we've seen all those music videos. We see the covers,
MTV generation,
the glamour, the TV, all of it.
BT,
We may not have been like in our pants dancing in front of the TV,
Right.
but it's just dropping little seeds over time. And some of us are just like, I want that. And I think some, like Rain, it didn't affect me. So it's like, that's something that drives me at all. But it very much is, it's an individual thing, just summing up all of it. It's how impressionable.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
You know what though? You know
it's a
something
great summation.
You mentioned the things we saw growing up. I was a little bit different. I don't know. I was a little weird, honestly, because another thing that influenced me a lot, I had anxiety about always for some reason. But one, I saw somebody when I was growing up. I saw somebody die from AIDS when I was a little kid, and it always in the back of my mind when I talk to girls. Like I wasn't a big have sex with a lot of people. I was scared of catching AIDS. Like cause Ryan, remember Ryan White, and people were dying from AIDS. Like it was you're gonna die. Now people don't think about it as much. Like they're taking medicine, and Magic Johnson is skipping around being a billionaire. But when I was growing up, people were like shriveling up, and like dude went from like a buff dude to like 50 pounds, and I saw it, and I was like. You got
like another version of scary.
And so whenever it came time to be intimate with people, I was like, nah. I was never like, I never really had a big hoe phase myself. Like now, I knocked a few down, but it wasn't like a lot, you know. And I was always like, yo, we gotta like wear a condom. You gotta get up off me. I would knock people off me. I get off me. Now, later, I kind of got out of it, but
I've seen him do that. Yeah.
But and normally it'll be the girl. It'll be like initially, we was protected. Then you fall asleep, wake up, and they violate the morning wood. But that's another topic, and that's how those incidents would happen. It was like morning wood violators. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all ladies know what I'm talking about. Everything is safe when the initial plan. You got a plan. You wake up and they I'm gonna hop on that, and you're like, no, it's too late. Is that guilty?
No, sir, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
I
think we'd have to be there to understand. So
y'all never. Okay.
No.
All right.
So
there are morning wood violators in this world who violate you. You need to be careful how you sleep. So
yeah, they didn't have a plane ticket to this podcast, so ain't nobody's here.
Well, I'm sorry.
Okay, so what about do we feel that at any point that there have been messages that being in a relationship, let me go back. So
no, you didn't got to go back. I
was gonna say at one point there was a very get married, 2 kids, picket fence.
It sure was, and now that
was
one wife.
Yes,
have one wife. Don't have multiple wives. You get married to one woman, stay married to that one woman.
Right.
Yeah.
That was
I'm gonna be honest. Maybe I need to
dangled.
say, what about the subliminal messages we get in church? Because
that was dangled. Yes,
that
I
was
will
dangled.
admit that. Yes.
The Cosby Show was
family,
a different world.
A different world.
Like, I want to go to college.
That's why I want to go to college.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are all subliminal messages, people.
Right. No. I'm admitting to it. When I used to watch A Different World, I was like, oh my God, I gotta hurry up and grow up so I can go to college.
It was a good one though. I like that.
I gotta find my Whitley. I was like,
right.
Hey,
if this is what college is, I gotta go. Knight Rider had me wanting that
I
same
need that
car.
You're
Guess
right.
what?
That trans app. Yeah, I need that.
Is that what I needed to do? I need to tell y'all the TV shows for y'all to understand.
Apparently.
So look, the reason I joined the military when I was a kid, G.I. Joe and shit. I was like, that's the coolest shit.
No one is happy about it.
I was like, get me the fuck
I
out
wanted
of
money
here,
because of DuckTales. I got it on the wall right now. I wanted money.
The Jetsons had me doing math. Like, yo, if I'm at this age, cars are going to be flying. I mean, I got
Right.
the
Yeah.
Apple Watch. All right, we almost there. We did experience visiting the doctor via Zoom and all of that. So
Yep.
but as a kid, the Jetsons, flying cars,
Oh yeah.
press a button for food. I mean, we're kind of
You
there a
can
little
still
bit.
press a button. Have you been to the airport lately? You can press
No,
a
because
button.
we
Yeah.
can.
I
I have,
We're
I
Yeah.
have
ready.
not.
Yeah.
I've not been to the airport.
Don't get the chicken nuggets. They're terrible.
Okay, thank you.
Don't get them
I
chicken
normally
nuggets in
eat
there.
every time I get on the plane. I normally eat before I get on the plane because I normally like to buy a little sip.
Okay, so
sip
at the
something.
airport, you could go to this thing. It looks like a locker, like when
Yeah.
you used to go
Yeah.
roller skating, and they
Yeah.
had the little locker, and you boop boop boop
And
boop,
it brings
and you
it.
wait a few minutes, and then ping, open it, and your food.
You
Your
order,
food.
you go to the
Yeah.
locker.
Wow.
But they
But
it's
so
not
look,
materializing it.
I
They
was in
behind the
Seattle.
wall.
Oh no, they're
Yeah.
behind the yeah.
When I was in
okay.
Seattle a couple of weeks ago, I went to this it was a Vietnamese restaurant. They had the robot waiters. You sit down
Oh yeah.
Right.
and
They
like
got it
you
at
hit the
a
button
Mexican place
and
up here.
you
Yeah.
like your food is cut and a robot will come out and with
Yeah.
your food you take it off the tray and the robot rolls back
Yeah.
over and then when
Right.
it's time to pay, that's when a person comes out.
That's when the human come out. Human
And they'll take your pay. But you never see you hit a button, a presentation comes up. This is so and so Vietnamese
Yeah.
restaurant. We have this and this, so and so. It's all fresh. And you hit the button, the robot comes out. I was like, that's crazy.
Pearl, I will tell you.
Timer.
Pearl, I will say that as far as subliminal messages, like that does resonate with me, because I was raised initially in a 2-parent home. I mean, they got divorced, but I was initially raised in a 2-parent home, and the institution of marriage was one that was very strong.
Right.
So yes, I will say that as a young lady, aside from the education piece of it, it was also expected that at some point you would get married, you have a couple of kids, very similar to the culture that you just spoke of.
Right.
So yes, and also from that standpoint, just and I don't know why, but Betty Wright popped in my head, which was having a piece of man is better than having no man at all. So you just
Betty
take.
Wright.
I did. Betty said
OG
it's better
legend.
to have a piece of man than having no man at all, and you just work with what you got. Now, in retrospect, that is the craziest. God bless
Right.
it. Don't do that. But I will say that was that dangling carrot. Like it
Right.
resonated
No, you're
during
right.
that time. So
Because think about it now, women, well, maybe not right now in this time, but
Right.
women, if you are, like, let's say, she's talking about 21-year adult, I know a woman who 25 walk into a room, she's not married and have, when you gonna have kids, girl? When you
correct, absolutely.
right?
So yeah, so that
Right, indicating because you don't have that you're not in a good place.
And I will say that even in my teenage years, which was while I was anyway, y'all know my story. If you don't know my story, you go look at
It's okay.
episodes.
The book is coming. The book is coming.
Yeah, but for that reason, I think I was on a search for someone to help me feel whole or be whole.
Right.
Even before I was 21, because when I was 21, I was coming down off the slope. So yeah, so like it was definitely a message there of you find happiness in having that union,
right,
or being in that union with someone.
So now I got double messages. So the verbal message from my mom was, all you need is an education, everything else will fall into place. She was hard pressed. I remember, and I don't know if Phil remembers this, but my mom used to say, you get your education, you could come in here with 7 kids, you could marry a woman, she just get your degree. That's all she would say, get your degree. But then subliminally, everybody in our family was married. I'm literally the first person to be divorced. Literally. And it didn't matter and the reason why I remember that is you talking about at least you got a piece of a man.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's like. It's like, so no one wants to talk about the happily part, married. No. They just want to talk about the married part.
Correct.
Right. So that's I'm like, I got different messages. Because even when things were bad, like if we saw someone in a bad relationship, my mother like, they don't have their degree. That's what it is. If they got educated, they were. Am I lying, Philip?
You're right.
Damn.
But Pearl,
Right.
I'll bring a good point right here, though. While, for the people who may be listening, right? I think you bring up a good point talking about being divorced and being happy. You don't, please, I would, please don't stay with somebody if you are unhappy.
Right.
And don't use the semblance of which we all talking about that you're gonna go to hell if you get a divorce.
Right.
Because
you go to hell if you kill that spouse.
But there are people who preach that. They say that once you're married, you stay married to that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the same people preaching are the ones that cheating on their wives.
Right.
Well, that's another thing.
That's another thing.
They
They say do as I say, not as I do. What people say, right? But very seriously though, because we all know people, I'm sure, that are hurting, man. And please don't stay somewhere if you are unhappy. Brother or sister, seek some help. You pray about that thing. Go see a professional that's degreed, because your brother, your homeboy, your homegirl, they ain't the person you need to be getting advice from. On this, go see a professional that knows what he or she is talking about. In addition to that, pray. If you believe in praying, pray about it. But don't enter into somebody's marriage unlikely, man. Don't do that. I mean, lightly rather.
I will put a little caveat. Big problems, but if you got some stuff to work out of your marriage, some people just be like, "Oh, we had an argument, it's over, divorce."
Exactly.
Well, I think what people don't realize.
But I'm saying that happiness. Here's
the point I want to make.
To be married. Yeah.
Let me set a very factual and realistic view on happiness. Happiness does not mean that everything is great all day, every day. It does not mean that. It doesn't mean that I have a marriage and we always agree, and every time we have sex, we climax at the same time and the music comes on. It doesn't mean our paycheck pays every bill and we take a. It doesn't mean that. Happiness means, despite what is happening, we are still moving towards a happier time. And more importantly, I think that, which I know we wanted to touch on, social media makes you believe that you're always Snapchat filter ready for everything in your life, right? Happiness doesn't mean I'm not going to wake up on Tuesday and be depressed on my mind and be like, oh my gosh, I wish but it means, because I know that's what I'm aiming for, I'm going to shake that shit off and go back if you can, because some people have medical stuff and they can't, and I get that. Right?
And you need to go see somebody to get that.
And you need to go see somebody. But more importantly, happiness is not a dual role activity. Happiness is an individual thing. And then if you get into a situation, they support your happiness. They cannot make you happy. They cannot give you happy. They could Red Bull you happy. They could Red Bull you happy now. You could be like, "Oh, I'm happy, and I'm even happier when I'm with this person." Yeah. But if you're not happy with yourself, best believe you're not going to be happy with nobody else.
Yeah, that reminds me. I was listening to, not a great personal quote, but I was listening to Will Smith. I know.
Big Willie.
Wait a minute, depending on what you about to reference, because I don't know now. You might want to walk it back and just
it's a good reference, I swear. Which, when he said it makes a lot of sense, and I think it rings true for every relationship. Like when two people are coming together, you can't bring 50% happiness and 50% happiness to make 100% happiness, because when you separate, you're only left with 50% happiness.
Right.
So you should be coming together with both 100%. So together you have 200% happiness. So you're sharing happiness. Right. You're not making 100% happiness.
We're so glad that's the reference to Will Smith, because what I thought was funny.
And although I agree with it, is that before or after? What's the little boy name?
Right.
Because you gotta get context now to what you just said. Because I'm like, when did he say that? Before or after he found out about?
I think that was before.
Yeah, that sounds like a before. Yeah,
that was before.
Well, I don't know, man. Big Willie is not the. I don't know, but that was a good one. That was a good one. I can shout to my dad though, man. I shout my dad was one of my big influences as far as relationships. And I saw
Great
him,
man.
and he always told me, always stuck in my head too. He always told me about women, like, hey, be good to women, don't be breaking people's heart. I always kind of stuck with him. That's why I never was a big time hoe like that. I never was like lying to people and like whenever I was. Whenever
Wait,
things
why
were,
the professor stopped his sip to laugh. He said,
no.
He almost
It was
he almost
funny.
he,
Is that
he almost spit out his drink.
right.
Nothing specific. It was just in context. It's funny.
Because whatever I did, everybody knew what was going on. People knew what was going on. It wasn't. And if I had to get rid of somebody, I got rid of somebody, and I did with the next person. I was never really
I'm watching
like
Professor.
that.
I'm watching
And the
Professor's
professor,
reaction.
Right.
professor, he's known me for
telling
years.
on you, Tyrone. Professor
I'm
telling.
watching Professor's reaction.
Yeah, this is probably unfair, but it's radical honesty. He is being truthful. This is truthful. I laugh because I'm aware of it, and so he is being
Was
truthful.
reading into something.
Okay.
See, no, because Erica's you always do this shit, Erica. You always want to act like, no, it's not true what you're saying.
Well, I'm gonna be real. No. We are self-blinded in our own stuff. So your perception is your
smile.
reality.
Here you go. He's telling on you. Look, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's
I'm
not.
agreeing. I'm agreeing with that.
Okay.
No, but she always does this to me.
I absolutely do.
I don't know why. It's like,
You're a good brother.
no.
I am definitely a test the theory. I'm a test the theory. I'm a test the theory. That's
You're a good brother, Professor.
So do you feel that the challenge for our younger
they screwed.
Oh,
God,
I didn't even finish this.
They so lost in the sauce.
Use their own term. They're cooked.
They ain't lying.
Well,
stick a fork in it.
I feel like our grown-ups said the same thing about us. So I kind of feel like their time is their time. Our time was our time. Our parents' time was their time.
These children have no morals, Shy.
I feel like
something's wrong with these kids.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell y'all. And you see how Coach look, you see him up there above you, Shy. You see him Shy. Like he's laughing because I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on with these parents. This generation of parents. I only know what generation they are. Are they the millennial children? I don't whoever these children.
Now.
Okay, whoever bore these children that's in school now that are not teaching these children anything morally. And let me be clear, because it's not across the board, but there are very large pockets of children who have no sense of reality. So when we talk about the illusion of happiness, oh baby, they all up in it. They the Jetsons in it.
Yeah.
They deep.
They're the children of millennials and the children of Gen Z. So they're generation Alpha.
I want to argue and devil advocate, but I just
you can't do it, dog. Don't even worry about it. I got you, homie.
No.
So I have, because I know Shah, I saw your message. My question is, do you think that we gain a deeper perspective or deeper appreciation for happiness if we've had trying times, tribulation, trauma, peers, whatever the label is that you want to call it? Do you feel that creates a deeper understanding of happiness?
But a deeper appreciation for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a deeper appreciation. It makes you realize, it makes you not sweat the small stuff as much.
Yeah, true.
But I'm gonna put a little asterisk next to that. For
you got another Will Smith.
What?
There's another Will Smith quote.
Maybe he got an August.
Yeah, this is real table talk stuff we're doing right here, but not.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
No, the adjectives. I think with every tragedy, that feeling of elation, that feeling of a renewal of life, it's always limited. And that's, I think, to me, it doesn't give us a deeper level of happiness. It gives us a better appreciation, but it's very short lived. And I mean, think about everybody. I'm sure everybody here went through a hard time in their life. Eventually, you don't lose that scar, but the impact of that trauma fades, depending obviously on certain situations.
I think happiness is perspective. Period.
I
That's
agree.
it. How do you
Yeah.
look at things? Period. I think it was Professor who said that when he was broke, I don't know if he used the word broke, but you're just saying like you are
Paul. Yeah.
right. Think about this, right? Which is kind of what I was trying to say. So we're in America, and regardless of current times, we're kind of probably the spoiled version of the world, right? But then you have people who live with less than half of what we have, and they are ecstatically happy. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I went from sleeping on a rock to now I'm sleeping on some sheep. You know, like and I'm not saying it always has to be a poor thing, but even just for those of you out here that don't know, Philly Cheese brought us this whole presentation here about happiness, and like Finland was like number one for the people who are the happiest, right? Whereas you would assume, because we're such a great country, that it would be maybe the United States, and we're not.
Wow.
You know, so that's why I'm like, it's really perspective.
All you gotta do is get a passport and travel, and you'll realize.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
I agree with 100%.
It's our society though. It's the way things are set up and have evolved. They have got us here. Same thing.
Right, but it's the messages. So the messages they've gotten are probably different than the messages we've
absolutely. Their entire society. So a lot of those societies are not capitalistic societies. And I'm not saying capitalism is bad. Greed is bad. Greed was bad, not capitalism. But a lot of these places they don't subscribe to that per se. It's not the primary focus. Our primary focus, I would argue, as Americans, is we are taught you must pursue the almighty dollar.
Yes,
you must pursue.
And everything has to be big. I have a cousin who is from Canada. She lives in France now, and I was like, oh, this and this is happening, and we're gonna do this dinner. And she goes, yeah, Americans, y'all can't just say, hey, I'm engaged, or I'm having a baby, or I'm having whatever. It has to be a big show, and she laughs at me every single time. She's like,
it's so much manipulation. It's just we're like hogs in a pen, and they feed you and feed you and feed you. You gotta buy all the stuff because that's how people make money. That's the whole reason we do engagement rings was a marketing campaign for diamonds. Like it wasn't even a thing before that.
Valentine's Day. It's the card and candy company. Make money. Halloween as we know it. It's the candy company.
When I tell people me and my wife don't do Valentine's Day, what? I'm like, because it's bullshit. It's just once you see things, it's hard to unsee them. Once you see the machine, it's hard to actually.
It's true. You look behind the curtain and you see the wizard, like, oh man, that's
Yeah, I can't do Valentine's Day where I know it's just some commercial bullshit.
Right.
Be good to my wife all year.
Amen. Yeah, this one particular day no special than any other. Right. It had no significance to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that when you were younger, or is that something in time because of the relationship you have with your wife?
I think
time brought that about. Time brought that about.
It's just whenever you realize, see the machine of how things work. Like I read a lot, and so just reading about how capitalism works, and you start to see the puppet strings, and it's hard to.
Right. So the education took away the fun from something that was. And I'm not saying it in a bad way, but that's what I'm saying. You got more knowledge. So some of the simpler things that might have seemed fun, happy, and whatever in the past are no longer that because now you're more educated.
I would say I was free. I was freed from those bonds of thinking I had to do that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So the education.
I have to buy it. Yeah. I wouldn't. No. But trust and believe what I'm saying. I wasn't happy doing it. I felt I was obligated to do it. When I had a girlfriend and I had to get her something on Valentine's.
Right. So you're like, in order for that relationship to work, I have to do that. That's what at the time.
Yeah, I had to do it. I had to do it. So
even when I was younger, I was like, this is bullshit. But you have a girl who's
Not
like
this is
believes
bullshit.
in
You
it,
can't
and
not
you're
do
like,
it, you know.
and you don't want. I don't want to hear the bullshit.
Yeah.
The
We compare.
you didn't
What
do
did you
nothing.
get
So
your girl?
just
That's what I got my girl. What did you get your girl? You know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
so
Pause
you
1
just do it
second.
anyway.
I know
You
you got to
played the
drop
game.
off, Shaw. So,
Yes.
all right.
Sorry, I can't
Well, we
stay.
thank you for. Now you good. We
There
thank
you
you
is,
for
brother.
being with us.
Oh,
We'll
good
see you
man.
again. It's not the last time.
Yes.
Peace out, homie. Nice
All
Have a
right.
good
meeting you.
one. Thank you
All
for
right,
brother.
having me.
Shaw
right.
Boogie.
I gotta record that.
There you go.
I'm one day.
All
All right,
right,
y'all.
for free, or you can pay
All right,
yourself.
brother.
Boy,
I'm about to say you
stop
gotta
it. Go
monetize
ahead,
it.
Listen,
You
Shaw.
gotta
baby,
monetize
it's
that, yeah.
America, baby. I'm infected.
I ain't mess with you. I guess so. The reason why I say that is again, I think education is fantastic. Free yourself from the captivity of ignorance. I'm not saying that. It's just the more you know, sometimes it pulls you away from, you know how they say ignorance is bliss. Sometimes it pulls you away from that. That's again not saying it's bad. Please don't walk around being stupid so you could be happy. I'm just saying sometimes it pulls you away from that because sometimes you didn't know, and then as you read, as you grow, as wisdom settles in, you change your perspective about things. That's so I'm not downplaying education. I think it's fantastic. Kudos to
Right.
everybody who's done it. But yeah, that's
And common sense too. I mean, hold on. And I would say
Yeah.
for those who don't have my formal education doesn't make me smarter than anybody else. You know, I
Right.
would argue actually the things that I have learned through just trial and error,
Life.
Yeah,
you know,
a
through
lot of these
life.
things are just
Yeah, that's the wisdom part. Yeah, that's
yeah,
this formal education thing. This thing right here, it ain't. Yeah, that thing. It's not the end all be all. You know, my
yeah,
real life people experiences is what
because you
has
don't have
made
to have
me
a degree
yeah
to be a
smart.
lifelong learner.
yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you
A
know.
So
lifelong learner
let
has
me
nothing to
fix
do
it
with
then.
degrees.
I do know that there's a difference between education and being educated.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And they
Yeah.
don't unfortunately all walk hand in hand with everybody.
because
Some
Yeah,
people
I mean, I know a
just
lot of
have an
people with
education. So
my
I know a
actual
lot of people with
degree.
doctor degrees that, you know, when not as smart as you think they are. That just means they
right,
persisted and they completed a
right,
course of study and defended their dissertation. Most of us defended the dissertation. That don't mean that they are brilliant. They just mean
right,
they persisted.
right.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, you could take the same thing about 4 or 5 times to get, so.
yeah.
But that being said, I've heard a lot tonight where people are saying my perspective has changed. My messages have been different in different areas. My pursuit of happiness, each person's pursuit of
Which is a
happiness.
Will Smith movie, by the way. Pursue that. Pursue that.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's full circle, man. It's full circle.
Is
it's
this
a
a
good
5
flick.
degrees of separation thing?
Yeah, that was organic. I had to mention that, but
Right. I
Tough flick.
I think everyone has to find their muse for happiness. Because for example, I can't set the bar for Tyrone, and Tyrone can't set the bar for Royal or Professor. We just can't because each person's thing is different. It may look similar, each person's thing is different. For me personally, of course, my perspective on happiness has changed over the years. I think my thoughts about happiness was maybe more based on seeing what people said would make you happy, and then they still weren't happy and they were miserable. And then also maybe my trauma too, but being super, super grateful for just the tiniest of things. And I think that's the thing that sometimes we lose in pursuing happiness is the gratitude in the little things. We're like, oh, I got this $50. Why couldn't it be $100? Oh, I have this 2-bedroom house. Why couldn't it be a 5-bedroom house? Or if I had his life or her life, I'd be okay. I think that is where the pursuit of happiness actually becomes a cycle of disappointment because we're setting ourselves up.
And Pearl, to earlier when you asked the question about the younger ones, like no exaggeration, I was being very serious with
Oh, I
that
know.
because the okay, because what you just mentioned about I got $10. Oh, well, I got $20. I wanted $20, but I got $10. That kind
Right.
of thing. For our young children, that is what messes them up, and nobody is there correcting that. So,
Right.
for example, for example, you have a teenage child and they want a girl, I don't even know what expensive cars are out there because I don't care about stuff like
Right.
that.
A fancy car. Let's say a
But
fancy
yeah,
car.
but they want this high
Maserati.
end. Who what?
Maserati,
Okay, so to say they want this Maserati, right?
which is crazy.
But the parent instead buys them a Honda Accord.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
They are going to be livid because they didn't get the Maserati and are like, I'm not driving that mess. Or better yet, maybe they wanted the Maserati, but they wanted a specific style of the Maserati. But
Color.
because they didn't get the exact style that they wanted, because maybe it was a little bit more expensive, but they got still got a Maserati, just a different model. That's the word I meant. They got a different model.
Uh-huh.
They wilding out. Damn it, you got a Maserati. Does it matter which freaking model that you got? Can you just say thank
for them,
you?
Yes, unfortunately.
But that's why I said what I said earlier. Like our youth are so delulu. I'm gonna use Coach
Using them
words.
young words
Yeah.
tonight. Delulu.
Yes, delulu. So when we talk about the illusion of happiness, they are in the sunken place because there's no check and balance, and nobody is correcting them. Not even some of their parents that are placating this foolishness with them. Like they just, oh God, it's just too much.
Yeah, because back then you could have nothing. You could have you be happy or have nothing. You close your mouth and be happy.
That part. So yeah.
Different generation.
So I appreciate you bringing that point up because that's where I was going with the younger folks. It's bad.
Do you think we could change that?
If we as adults resolve ourselves, but that's a whole other conversation when we talk about this.
Well, you said I start scratching. I'm like,
I fight that good fight every day.
Well, we're in the generation now too is that you don't want people to correct your child if they're doing something wrong. So in the past you could say to somebody, "Hey man, cut that out. Stop doing that." I mean, you got immediate family members don't let you do that. But in your profession, that makes sense. But I'm talking about if you saw somebody on the street,
talking about like the village to raise a child.
Hey, stop doing that right now. Stop doing that right now.
Right.
I was in the store fussing at kids last week. I was fussing at kids I don't even know. I just don't be caring. And plus, I'll carry. I'm gonna conceal.
But yes.
Yeah.
But I agree. I agree. It's perspective based.
Absolutely. It is. So it's all your perspective. So
Gotcha. Well, this was good. We got a little bit of deepness. We got some quotes. We got some stats. We got some back and forth.
Will Smith quotes. I gotta look those up. Will Smith.
Yeah.
We got some shout outs to different areas.
I got accused of lying. I got accused of lying.
Right.
About my life.
Stop it.
I don't know if she said you were lying. I think she just intimated perhaps that wasn't a full-throated recollection of what happened. Right. I don't know if she said
I was testing your memory. We learned today why Mr. Cheeks' name is Mr. Cheeks.
We did.
And Mr. Cheeks is dope. That's a dope brother.
Light camera action, boy.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed my time conversating with him one evening. That's a dope brother. Shout out to Mr. Cheeks.
I was like, let's give him a shout out, Mr. Cheeks.
Shout out to Mr. Cheeks.
Clap for Mr. Cheeks.
But go ahead, Tyrone. Wrap us up like you do.
Okay, so hey, we're at the end of the night. So hey, if you're still in here, please hit the like button. Helps us out. Share it. Subscribe. Join the channel. It helps us out. HBO special. Help a brother out. You know how it goes.
HBO special.
Okay. What? All right. So you've been part of the experience. Well, the experience is always good. We will see you guys next time. Peace.